Carly Harvey, first
Hi.
of all, Happy New Year and welcome back to Living on Music, my dear.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you.
Yes, you too. And it is so wonderful to see you. I was reviewing our early show on Living on Music, probably only a few months after I started doing it. And visually, we were trying to figure out the best way to do Zoom and things like that. But it was all, and it all came to bear and come to fruition since. And it's wonderful to have you here. I know that there has been, since you were last on, which was again 2021.
Yeah.
Um, I know that there's been a wonderful ride for you. How do you feel over the last 3, 4 years that music has gone for Carly Harvey?
It's definitely been a roller coaster, like, going up and then, all the waves, but overall, it's been amazing and I love what I do for a living and I love feeling and seeing more of it manifest as I desire. So it's been
Great.
really great.
I love that. Well, DC's Queen of the Blues is still a feasible title for Carly Harvey, which I love because that's something I've seen left and right when I've been going back and looking through you again. And wonderful reviews. The DC Music Reviews review was so wonderful, talking about the grace, confidence, originality, and the right amount of sexy swagger, all at once. And the reviews continue. That the WAMMIE you won for Best Blues was right before that show we did, right?
Yes, it
Yay.
was. It was.
Yeah, I've been on to asked to go on to the advisory committee since then,
Oh,
of musicianship, and that's been a great run. I couldn't get my show nominated though if you're on the advisory committee. So I was thinking, Plus, it's hard to judge, as I mentioned in the show last time. It's hard
mhm.
to judge. They really don't want you to take any kind of leans towards people and I have interviewed so many people, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to even judge because I want to vote for all the people that are the best that I've had on the show." A big deal for you is Kamama. And right now, people look behind me. It was November, I think November 27th it came out or something around that.
August 25th.
August 25th.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. I think there was something that happened in November that maybe I saw with the record or something like that that I saw looking through stuff. But it was the end of August, right?
Yeah, it was the end of August. So I released it on my birthday as a little gift to myself because um, many people don't know. So I'll just mention I did have like an angel sponsor because I did crowdfunding and that didn't quite raise what I needed. And I had someone come in and say, I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. And I think you have so much potential and you just need the support behind you. And so I'd wanted to release it October the year before, and there were
Oh,
all these things, and I was honestly feeling a little devastated. That was part of the roller coaster. So it was
wow.
exhilarating to get the opportunity because something in me just said, Carly, you just have to do it. Like, let's do the crowdfunding, and you just have to start getting in the studio. So we just started, and it was coming out of my pocket. And but it was songs I've written like 10 years ago
Oh.
and I just didn't, have the means to do it. And because of all the holdups and financial things, blockages, I said, you know what? I deserve to give this to myself as a gift for my
Oh.
birthday. And so that's why we chose my birthday and we did the album release party on that day as well.
Oh my gosh. I think in November, I think was something about winning the best self-produced album. See, album.
Yes,
That's what I read.
Blue
And
Society.
I made the mistake of thinking that that was close to when you started it, but that was what from the River City Blues Society, right?
Mhm.
Oh, that is fabulous. And in 2025, it's going to run for the International Blues Challenge Best Self-Produced Album.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's spectacular, Carly, because I've known of you and you for a while and of you for an even longer period. So to see people like you come up with these albums that you've wanted to do this for how long? I mean, you just said you've been writing for 10 years. Has it been just a long want for Carly Harvey to have her own record?
Absolutely. And I have an EP released and that has all original music on it. And
Right.
we kind of rushed it because
Yeah.
it was the last time I won the DC Blues Society Battle of the Bands, keeping my DC's Queen of the Blues title.
Right.
Um, and I was like, I need music to sell down there and to like promote myself. So my keys player Dave Garasdos has an amazing studio, and we just got in there. And my original songs that I'd been playing, we were like, let's put this on an EP. Um, but the full album and to have it like well produced and
Mm.
all the bells and whistles, all those things. I didn't have the time or the income
Right.
to make that happen. So
Sure.
it really has been a dream for a long time. And some people are doing the release singles kind of thing, but
Yep.
when you release singles, you don't really necessarily qualify for things like, the BMAs because they want a
Right.
full um project.
Right.
So um I did submit to the BMAs. We haven't seen who the nominees are yet, so fingers crossed for that. And
Yep.
I did make it into the consideration round for the Grammys. So
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
not the nomination, but there are some really great people who are nominated. So I'm really happy for them, and what an honor it was just to, submit your work and have it considered. You
Oh,
know.
completely, Carly. It sounds like this has turned out to be a wonderful release for you. Let's talk a little bit about the record. I loved Michelle Castiglia did a kind of a review or an explanation or something like that online, talking about the album paints an auditory picture of the blues family tree, with
Mhm.
its roots in the minor pentatonic melodies of Native American lullabies, flute music, and rhythms of the shuffle heard and stomp dance songs. I mean, it sounds, she just continues to go on about that. It seems like that was a wonderful kind of overview of the album itself. You have two people that I know on the record. It's an amazing lineup of people that you have. Jonathan Sloan, who was just on Living on Music. We did like you and I did in 2021, went through his entire life and career, and it was a wonderful ride. And Darren Blessman, the amazing guy, amazing drummer. So that was amazing for me to see, is at least two of those guys on there. Talking about some of these songs, you have somebody, what is talking about the Walking Eagle?
Oh, Walking Eagle is a friend of mine who's also
Oh,
Afro-Indigenous. Um, I I believe he's Lakota and half Lakota and half Jamaican. I might get the tribe wrong, but anyway, he was on The Voice
oh,
last year, and
really?
he's an amazing vocalist and songwriter, and he also plays the flute really well. And I couldn't think of a better person to include on this project. So he's become, a very good friend, and I'm so blessed to have him on the record.
I love that. That name popped up, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to ask her about Walking Eagle. And he was on The Voice. Oh
Mhm.
God,
Yeah.
that's got to be a wonderful run too. Just to get on there. Of course, you want to go all the way. But the fact that fact that he was on there, that was Native Scat, which is I guess the first song on the record. You have Mean Old Woman. Talk to
Mm.
me how that song came to be. Who's that about?
Well, if I had my teacup, I'll just say because I know this is public and everybody knows. I actually plan to go to the ocean after our uh, uh, interview to go throw my wedding rings in the ocean.
Oh, but that's making you a mean old woman to do that? No, I mean,
Well,
things
I'll just
happen.
say
So,
in the, basically I took some notes from Taylor Swift. I was like, you have your side of the story and I will Taylor Swift you in my song and I will actually say the truth. So when all my songs are from my personal experiences, the good, bad, and the ugly,
right.
um, and the beautiful also. I
Sure.
would say that marriage taught me so much about myself,
Mhm.
about what I know that I deserve and that I'm worthy of.
Right.
And I'm also well within my right to tell my story through my art. So I
Completely.
I was called a mean old woman, and in the as the refrain says, she's got a good reason why. So that's where that song
Oh,
came from, and
yeah.
Every single lyric is absolutely true.
I love that. You've got Jonathan and Darren on that one. You've got Mike. You've got other people on that. Joe Lewis
Joe
Walker
Lewis Walker,
on lead guitar.
yes, he's a dream. He's like a mentor to me, and he and his wife they're just such kind and warm people. And I've done the Indigenous Peoples Day Rocks with him up in Stowe, Vermont.
Right. Oh,
And he just has so much wisdom. And he said, Carly, I believe in you. And, if you want me to be on your record, you just let me know. I'll do it. And so I felt very like cradled by the legends of blues.
perfect.
No,
No, that's wonderful. So was that up at the Mount Stowe?
Yeah, where the ski
Yeah.
lodge is. So they have Indigenous Peoples Day Rocks every year, and the Abenaki tribe is up there. And
Oh,
I also feel so wonderfully welcomed by them. I think from what I recall, Joe Lewis Walker does have some native lineage, probably not like culturally native, but probably somewhere in his lineage he's got some as well. So
right.
it was really cool to do that event with him and be welcomed by the Abenaki people and to come and share music with people in Vermont who don't necessarily have that much access to Native culture. So
Sure. Oh, what a wonderful thing. My son Ben just went skiing at Stowe last weekend.
jealous,
After a
jealous.
after a huge intense business run for a couple of months, he's like, I'm going skiing. So he went to Stowe. But I love that. You've got other songs, Misery, and She Ain't Me. I love this. Please do that to me. Do you have a favorite song from that record that jumps out at you and is really something that or is it just a smorgasbord? It probably is because it's all these wonderful songs on this one record.
Thank you. I would say my favorite song might be Take Your Love
Oh,
because it's not necessarily in a blues form.
right.
And that's what I like to do with my music. My music is always going to be blues derivative, but part of our job, I don't want to say responsibility, but part of our calling as artists is to push the envelope,
Wow.
and to continue to evolve. So this song had nods to Bobby Blue Bland, nods to James Brown, as well as keeping the feel of blues. And
Oh,
when it came to producing, I co-produced it with Mark Williams, who's so amazing, great producer. And he
wow.
really was open to just letting me be so involved.
Right.
And so, um, you know, our first run through with the song, it kind of sounded like a rock song. And I was like, this isn't the right feel. We had to go in and just change the environment so that the feeling of blues and that the nuances of blues in the guitar were still present. And I just love how that song turned out. So I think it's my favorite because of its transformation.
Oh, well, yes, people will hear a bit of that right now. I'm telling you.
It's Friday and time for the DMV sound check. This week we're meeting a performer who's been called DC's Queen of the Blues.
She recently appeared at the Waterfront Blues Festival and has another performance coming up in the city. Carly Harvey, welcome to Great Day, Washington. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, thank you for
The Queen
having
is
me.
here.
The Queen has arrived.
Yes.
Right in the eye, played me. I was not looking for this love affair. You took my heart, you made me. Oh, you made me look like a fool, yeah. was never one to play the fool. Well, take your love and go on. Well, take your love and go on. Well, take your love and go on. I don't need you. I don't need your loving anymore. Oh, once upon a time, you loved me, but this did not end like a fairy tale. Ooh, you took my heart, you made me, oh, you made me look like a fool.
That's Daniel Clark on the keys.
Yes.
You got Darren and Jonathan, and then Sean Hurley on bass, right? Is he on there?
That's John Mayer's bass player. I was like, what in
Oh.
the world? How lucky did I get?
That is fantastic. Wow, where did you record this, Carly?
I recorded at Water Street Sound. That's
Okay.
where Mark Williams is in Georgetown. So 15
Yep.
minutes from my house. You wouldn't know because I was late to every session. It's, when something is close by, you're like, yeah, I'll leave in 5 minutes. And then before you know it, we're in DC. That
Right.
5 minutes can destroy all of your good intentions.
Totally. Oh, that's classic. Yeah, obviously, Kamama, the song with Walking Eagle doing some drums and some backing vocals. Human 2.
Mm.
What is that? What is the evolution of Human 2?
So I recorded an acoustic version of the song back in 2020, and that's what I got the Best Blues Artist Award at the WAMMIEs for.
Oh,
So I would call that song folk blues. Again, we're keeping like the nuances of blues and the feel, but I wanted to kind of include my culture because in the song I'm talking about very personal things. I think there are other marginalized groups, but we can't have an 8-minute long song. It's already pretty long, but
some bands do that, and it's just it's exhausting.
What if I say that I can't breathe? In fact, I beg and I plead while your knee is pushing down on me. Is there more compassion for someone whose skin is unpigmented? Is it really a threat? Or maybe you need to look within. Why are you so afraid? Maybe you don't know. It's just so deeply ingrained. Oh, 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 oh. Would it matter more if we looked like you? Black lives matter, we are human too. I think blues used to be blues when it began as, joy and artistic expression as resistance to oppression. And then there were social justice statements made in blues. And, as it has evolved, as music does and art does, it was an opportunity to kind of go back to the root of blues and make a statement about social justice. But not only that, to offer a solution for communication instead of you're bad because you think this and you think that and you're stupid. There's no accusation. It's put yourself in these shoes and now let's have a conversation about it. And I bet we could heal ingrained hatred if we communicated, if you learned empathy.
Yeah.
So that's where the song came from. And I love the acoustic version. the full band version is so amazing because we get like nuances of the gospel choir at the end, and then we have the native drum, and
Right.
Walking Eagle is doing some vocables and chanting in the middle of it. And I include Dave Keller,
Right.
and Anika Chambers, who are, you know, successful
Sure.
musicians in their own right, and
Sure.
super just blessed that they agreed to be on that song with me. So
Oh.
you just asked me what my favorite song is, but now I'm like, maybe that's it.
Maybe there's a couple or three or five.
Maybe,
Speaking of beautiful songs or something that has to have some meaning to you, worth waiting for. And that is dedicated to Daryl Harvey.
yes, it is.
And that would be?
My dad.
You bet it was. We talked about him at our 2021 show, which is available on the Zebra video video section. If people wanted to look at that, and I'll try to post it again soon too. But talk a little bit about Worth Waiting For.
So, Worth Waiting For. I wrote that song maybe a year prior to the pandemic.
Right.
And basically, as we talked about in the previous video, my dad was a bass player, a funk bass.
Right.
And sometimes while I'm sleeping or like just in a deep meditation, I get visits from him. Those who don't believe in the spirit realm, just suspend your disbelief. But these are real experiences I have. And so She Ain't Me also is written from a bass line my dad gave me. And this bass line for Worth Waiting For was so specific. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. So I go in the studio with our good friend Holly, and just lay down a blueprint of it so that we can build from it. And it just kind of just didn't go anywhere. And I want to say 2 weeks before the lockdown, we were submitting for the Tiny Desk contest.
Love that. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so the deadline was coming up. And so my dad started coming into my dreams for like 2 weeks. He was like, hey, listen, you got to fix this song. And I was like, yeah, that song's on the back burner. And then, so I'm like, I'm trying to sleep, leave me alone. And it was like every night he was like, no, put the hits here. And you have to do this. And there needs to be like a rhythmic anticipation. And then you got to do this. And I was like, la, 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 la. It was like really disrupting my sleep. So
wow.
Maybe 12 days into this 14-day intrusion, I was like, all right, fine. So I started listening to him, and I started like, waking up at 3 a.m. and like playing keys or guitar and like putting it down. Then eventually I vocally sang all of the parts, sent it to the band, and I was like, we got to do this for Tiny Desk because my dad just will not hear the end of it. And we submitted it for a Tiny Desk contest. So it's not on the EP because that was after the EP was recorded. And while we didn't, win the Tiny Desk contest, it got us some recognition, and they were like, "That's a jam. That's a good song." And so this album was the opportunity to put it in there and make my dad proud. And I chose Mike Tony Eccles as the bass player, for most of the songs on the record because the way he plays reminds me of my dad, like so, and he just chef's kiss. He did him so proud. And I had so many moments when I cried when we were recording.
Oh, sweet.
So also very beautiful evolution. If you go look on YouTube for the Tiny Desk submission, hear the version on the album, it is still very much honoring the original version of the song. And it's just, we've got the horns. Oh, Dad was not playing with the horns.
So here's a song I wrote with my father, Daryl Harvey. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Baby, we have been here before. Instead of talking, you chose to walk out the door. Baby, I don't want to fuss and fight. When you were good to me, we made love all night. If you're gonna have a queen, then doubt of loyalty. Step aside for someone who won't waste the time. Yeah, it's not too late. You can make this right. Make it right. Come on, make it right. Could have had another chance if you played your cards right. Just been patient, baby. Forgiveness takes more than one night. Oh, but baby, don't you see where you went wrong? Oh, you were playing mind games, and I wouldn't play along. If you're gonna have a queen, then doubt her loyalty. Step aside for someone who won't waste the time. Hey, oh my love, my love.
I love on the credits for the song, it says native scat reprise vocals and hand drum, Carly Harvey.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that's a neat part of that you would add that to your already amazing run. Well, my gosh, that sounds like a really wonderful run with this, and it seems like it's now 3-4 months out. And I hope people are embellishing it and being a part of it, because it just sounds like an absolutely wonderful run for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about what else has been going on. I know there's two other ladies that are two of my favorite that you have that wonderful little gang band with for Honey Larks.
Yes.
And with Jenny Langer and Holly Montgomery, who I've kept in touch with too over the last 4 years. Honey Lark still floating around a little bit whenever you guys can find time.
Yeah, we started that group during the pandemic because we were each other's like safe bubble, and as like we got offered more work, of course, it's kind of like a side project and we all have our own projects that we're focusing on. But, I know Jenny moved to Nashville, but she comes up here all the time. Is basically we see each other as often as we did before. So.
Right. Yeah, her run has just been out of control with the Bone Shakers. I mean, out in Europe and doing all that, and then Holly's along with the band, and then she's over with Mustangs of the West, and you're doing this. And the fact that you guys can bond still and do the three of you is so wonderful. I remember the last time I saw all three of you together was at Can't Chicken Rock at 868 Vineyards. And that was fabulous. Hopefully, we might see one or three of you this coming May. I think it's the 27th. Jem has me doing that again. And
awesome.
God bless him. He had a really tough ride there for a while over in Europe, getting pneumonia and COVID. And then coming back, and we had dinner with them about 2 months ago, him and Gina, and it was wonderful. She's doing great. So maybe we'll see you again there. What else is going on with Carly Harvey and your music and life of late and coming up, so we can tell people?
Ooh, well, so I was awarded a DC Arts grant, and I'm going to use that to fund my tour because touring is expensive. I know people think, oh, you go on tour, you make all this money. And it's like, nah. I've got to pay bands like, lodging. I mean, until you are Shamika Copeland status, they're not paying for my hotels just yet. And actually last spring I did my own European tour, and it was so amazing. And I
think I read up on that when I was like, whoa, talk a little bit about what that was about.
Oh, it was so amazing. So there are these blues dance festivals in Europe. I mean, these people are very dedicated to understanding and learning the art of blues dance and its origins. So not only last year they asked me to, because I teach courses on the origin of blues, and they wanted me to do a talk about how blues started, its origins, and of course my class includes the Native American influence in the origin of blues.
Sure. I was going to ask you if you're still doing teaching. That's fabulous.
Yeah. Oh, so after I left Vermont for Indigenous Peoples Day Rocks, I went to Boston and I taught lectures at MIT and at Tufts University. And they went so well, and MIT is like, come back next year and do the lecture again. So
MIT is spectacular.
her under her belt. I mean, I've already been teaching the class at different universities and also in Montgomery County public schools, and I even taught it at Sidwell Friends School a few years back. But anyway, so in Europe they wanted a portion of my talk, and this year I would have loved to go back to Spain, but just the logistics didn't work out.
Right.
So over Zoom, I did a virtual lecture for them. So anyway, it was a series of blues dance festivals from Spain to Italy. So I toured like northern Piedmont area of Italy and in Madrid, Spain, and we'll definitely be going back next year, especially with the grant money I've been awarded. And right now what I'm doing is I have pickup bands. So I had a pickup band in Spain, a pickup band in Italy, but with the funding, I will bring along my people from here. Because some people are like, Carly, when are you going to get your own band? And I'm like, I have my own band, but I do what's lucrative. So I even have a band in Portland, Oregon. Like I've got my calls out there that, and those are the people I work with. So when I did the Waterfront Blues Festival, I had my folks from that area, and I guess the PDX area is kind of like my second home.
Wow. That's when does that next tour begin?
March.
Cool.
I'm out of my mind. When I told you, I'm like, I've lost my marbles. The marbles are here and there and everywhere. So I won't be bringing my band to Brazil, but I will be in Brazil in March. And there's a band out there who's like, we love your stuff and we're going to back you. And so we're starting out in March, and I'll get to come home for a little bit and recalibrate, and then we're going to start doing up the East Coast and Midwest, and all the dates aren't finalized yet, which feels a little crazy because it's coming up so soon. I
bet. I hope I have to believe there'll be some in this region for us to see you.
We'll be at Blues Alley February.
When?
February 25th.
I've been wanting to go back there so bad, and I've had a bunch of you guys that I know play there. I think Jenny was there last. It might have been the Bone Shakers, but I cannot wait for that. That would be a wonderful. That place still hanging in. Had a fire upstairs. About a number of years ago, and held steady. That is a legendary place. I love that you're playing there. What else over the next few months for Carly Harvey?
Well, I might be a little quiet. I do have gigs here and there.
Good.
But this is like the tour planning part of it, which I think some people are like, oh, you must have such a glamorous life. You get on stage, you look so great. And I'm like, I'm swamped in office work, like up the walls. Where as independent artist, I'm a graphic artist. I'm a web designer. I'm a payroll expert or tax person. Like and I'm my own tour manager, and I don't have my own manager, so I'm the business Carly Harvey manager.
There you go.
And the booking agent. So I'm looking to get some help with the booking for the tour, because as I said, all that stuff, I'm a little burnt out, and I need to get my marbles back.
Sure. I'm sure you will. And again, to have Kamama in your back pocket now as something that you wanted to do for so long must enrich with all that's going on, and the marbles here and the marbles there, as you said. That must still be a heart-filling accomplishment for you going forward, isn't it?
It really is. I think that, what this album does, what it is for me is it's a love letter to the blues. Honestly, it's because it not only features classic blues, but all like blues derivative music that couldn't exist without the presence of blues. So there's folk blues, there's blues rock, there's soul blues like Misery, there's blues funk as a little honor to my dad, and the tree was even conceptual, right? Like my name, Kamama, my full name is Butterfly Dancer. Kamama is the way you say butterfly in the Tsalagi dialect.
Yeah, I meant to ask where that comes from.
Yeah, so Butterfly Dancer, my name really means she who is the first to dance. So it's kind of like I march to the beat of my own drum, basically.
Is that why
Oh,
there's a
butterfly fly. Carly will be dancing somewhere. That's me.
is that you? I was like, wait a minute, is that Carly the butterfly? And it
That's
is.
me. And so we decided to put the name in the roots of the tree as you know, as imagery for like native roots in
Right.
music. So the blues scale is derived from the minor pentatonic scale, and that's where most Native American music is, I want to say, created from, because it's not written out like,
Right.
you know, but
Right.
prayer songs and lullabies for kids, flute music is all derived from the minor pentatonic scale. So these were, you know, Black people with proximity to Native music and ceremonies and culture were creating this genre of music, which started out with field songs and spirituals.
Sure.
And, you know, and so I wanted it to be like the roots of the tree and then the branches of all of its derivative music, which is so valuable for us today. Like Gary Clark Jr. does what he does because of the root of blues, you know.
Sure.
And I love Gary Clark Jr.
Me too, yeah.
And the Teskey brothers too. I love the Teskey brothers. They're from Australia. There is something very special about people who are not from this soil, who feel so inclined to blues, because that it's just so telling that it's so powerful in its energy and in its connection to like just the thread of connection of all beings on the earth. Like I know that sounds so like spacey and out there, but I feel so honored when people from Spain and Belgium and Portugal and Australia are like, I just love blues, and they respect where it comes from. They want to know and they want to honor it and give it reverence. And that's when they play it the best.
Yeah, and that's what Kamama is the core of. And that's something that, you know, again, I think you've gotten a couple of recognitions. You're going to have more of them, I think, in terms of awards. You've got people who are probably falling for it. And what you just said is so wonderful. There are people who love that origination of the blues and that native piece of it and the indigenous nature. I love how you've done that with this. And I wish you the very best of luck going forward with Kamama and the people getting to hear it. And people can go to your website still, carlyharvey.com. They're on Instagram and Twitter at Carly H Music.
Carly Harvey Music.
Carly Harvey Music. You have YouTube. Right. And Carly Harvey Music on YouTube and Facebook as well.
Yes.
I'm going to wish you the very best in 2025.
Thank you.
You know, with what you're doing, I'm sure you will find self-comfort in life as it goes forward. We all are. I mean, come on. We're human beings. Life is it's an amazing ride.
Our medicine, so and I'll make sure when the vinyl is ready, I'll make sure to send one over to you.
That's wonderful. And remind me, and I will also do it right after we do our show is February 25th at Blues Alley. That I would love to be able to do something with that as well. But I wish you the very best of luck. Please keep happy and excited and stimulated by what you're doing, because Carly, it's fabulous.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks again for being on Living on Music with me.
Thank you for having me. Can't wait till next time.
Oh, I know, and we will have a next time. And I wish you a happy new year and the very, very best, and take care.
Thank you.
Sure. Bye.